Mm-hmm.
News in the air, but not a whole bunch of it.
No,
I
not too
mean,
much.
not too
Oklahoma
crazy.
is officially in the College World Series final, I guess you should say then. So they will be representing the Big 12, or if you want to look at it that they'll be representing the SEC, we could have an all SEC College World Series because Ole Miss and Arkansas, they're going to face off here within the next hour or two. So
Yep.
it'll be very fascinating. A lot happening over in Omaha. We're going to have to get Box opinions on all that because he is still out for the remainder of this week. He was out last week too. Next couple days, he's been in Omaha for the College World Series this entire time. Again, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. We want to hear from you. And this one should be interesting because I talked about it a little bit on the water cooler. So if you're just joining us, I'll go ahead and go over it again. So Nebraska football, they have CBS Sports. His name is Tom Fornelli, works for CBS Sports, and he came out with his official predictions for Nebraska football. And to preface this, Nebraska's preseason win total set by Caesars Sportsbook is at 7.5. So keep that in mind when I go over what he says here. So I'm going to say this in quote, and then I'm just going to get your immediate reaction, Strick, and I want to get your guys' immediate reactions too. 402-464-5685. So, Tom Fornelli of CBS Sports, he writes, can the greatest 3-9 team of all time improve to 8-4 in 2022? Considering Nebraska played like a 6-6 team last year, it technically wouldn't be that large a leap, but I'm not going to bet on it. Honestly, I don't know what anybody has seen from Nebraska over the last 8 years that would make them optimistic about anything. However, I think we'll see a rebound from a lot of the horrific breaks this team suffered last year. The greatest 3-9 team of all time will be a perfectly mediocre 6-6 team. It might even go 7-5, but betting on 8-4 seems foolish. Reactions, Eric Strickland.
I mean, I see where he's coming from, and I understand what he's trying to say. I think I too kind of fell in that best case scenario 7-5 area. Um, but to say it the way that he said it,
right,
is
that's what rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, that's something that's kind of throwing me a little bit because I don't think it is as bad as what he is alluding to per se. I do want to say that this particular Nebraska team has a lot to prove. When I look at the games that he is referencing, the Northwestern, I always said it's going to be one of the ones that is going to tell us a lot about this Nebraska team. I think then you use, or hopefully use, the momentum of playing well and being able to take some good film and take that momentum and take care of business against North Dakota, and then also with Georgia Southern. Then you're going to face a not good Indiana team.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're able to take revenge, hopefully, on an Illinois team.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And then you're gonna have some fights against Minnesota. I think that'll be a good fight. I think Purdue will be tough. I also think Rutgers is going to be tough. I think they have a chance to clip Oklahoma.
I do too.
And then I think they may split against an Iowa and a Wisconsin. I think they'll probably lose up there in Michigan. So I think there's a couple of games that can go either way that can put you into that. I know there's some Kool-Aid out there, and I'm not trying to say I'm drinking. I'm just saying
I'm drinking it.
I'm just saying I think there are a couple of games that if things swing the right way, they're able to not have to fight uphill, or they're not fighting against the chains, or they're not putting themselves in bad field position, or special teams is killing you because the field position is in the wrong direction most of the night. And if it's just solid and it's bend don't break and you force a couple turnovers, I think a couple of those games, i.e. your Purdue's, i.e. the Rutgers and the Minnesota, I think those games can put you in a category to where you end up with 8-9 win season.
It's really interesting, and I want to bring this up too. I want to make sure that everyone knows. So the losses that he has are here. Let me just go ahead and run through the losses. And as you guys know, I've already looked at the win totals for those teams, and I'll go over those in a second. So the wins are against Northwestern, North Dakota, Georgia Southern. That means that you start 3-0. You would drop one against Oklahoma, how he predicts, and then Indiana, you would start your season 4-1. If they're not ranked, I'm telling you, they're going to be one of the teams right outside of that. And then his other wins, he has Illinois, Minnesota, losses to Oklahoma, Rutgers, Purdue, Michigan, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Now, for reference, he has a loss against Rutgers. Rutgers, actually, their win total at 4.5 is the same as Illinois and Indiana. So if you're projecting them to beat Illinois and Indiana, I think that it's safe to put Rutgers in that group, and text line agrees with me too. We aren't going to lose to Rutgers, LOL. And then it's where it gets really interesting because Nebraska's win total at 7.5. That's the same as Purdue, who he has a loss. It's the same as Iowa, who he has a loss. And then Wisconsin is won over at 8.5. So what I think is so fascinating about this, and I'm going to ask the text line, and I'm going to ask you, Strick, if you start 3-0, never been done in the Scott Frost era, never won 3 games in a row, even if you do drop one to Oklahoma by this prediction, by my prediction, by probably your prediction too, you beat Indiana. You start 4-1. Again, if you're not ranked, you are on the very outside looking in. You are considered nationally, by the national audience, a good football team. What do you do from there? Because his situation is you start 4-1, then you close out the season 2-5. Your window is 6-3 is how he has it started out. You can't get rid of a 6-3 coach. As much as Nebraska fans say 6 wins isn't enough, whether that's right, wrong, or you're indifferent about that statement, if you start 6-3, you're not getting rid of your head coach. So then you drop the final 3. What do you do?
Yeah,
that's the tough spot to be put in if this situation is correct.
Well, I think obviously the buyout and all those things are executed. It's already been minimized. You can't execute it during season. You just have to wait till after season. And after season, then you make a decision. Do you stay internal or do you go external? Right. Or do you, because I think that's the assessment that's going to take place. You're going to be able to look internal to see which areas of the program either was stagnant, was terrible, was flawed, got better, was thriving, and you're able to take that into account. Then you're able to look internally and say, okay, as you've been watching over the season, who are the players gravitating to? Who do they like? Who can they get behind? You know, because at that point, you really then Scott would have one more year left?
I believe 1 or 2.
I think it may be 2, possibly. Right? So then your buyout becomes more manageable. Then if you find something internal to where you can not have to pay the premium, but then you can also pay a solid show improve and let those 2 years where you're not getting killed and destroyed by salaries of trying to pull in another Scott Frost type of hire,
outside hire,
and then now you ballooned your salary in that aspect of a head coach. I think if you can find something internal where you can balance that off, it's a show improve contract. It's going to be nice and better than what you're getting as far as your assistant job. But if you prove your worth, and we're going to take good care of you. You see what I'm saying? I think that's the best option and best scenario out there.
It's tough. I'm going to get to the text line here, 402-464-5685 for Starter Heyman text line. Space Cadet says, who's to say we can't be the Michigan State from last year with all the good additions from the portal, not to mention the schedule is very favorable. I have to agree with them on that.
I agree.
If you're taking out Michigan State and Ohio State and you're plugging in
even Penn State,
Penn State that didn't play last year, but yes, they avoid Penn State again, like you said. And then you're throwing in Rutgers and Indiana, who by Vegas's odds are arguably the worst teams in the Big Ten outside of Northwestern, who has legitimately the lowest at 3.5 win total. I don't know why you can't say that could be a possibility. Again, this scenario that he puts out, I think, is the most interesting one. Wilmot says, optimistic 10-2 Kool-Aid drinker, go big red, realistically more like 6-6 or 7-5. Oh, he said it this morning on BJ's show. Nice. I like that, Wilmot. And then he says, winning is infectious and belief can go a long way. You start by dropping games and doubt sets in. I think that's kind of what happened to the team last year. And then Ladder Guy, I want to get to what he says. 6 wins is not enough. because it's not a pat on the back to go 4-1. It is the expectation that they do. Here's why this is so interesting to me is that the 6 wins, the way that it plays out is so tough to get rid of your coach because you're starting 3-0, 4-1, and then the dominoes are going to fall to 6-3. Like I said earlier, that's when that 6-3, that week 8 mark is where your buyout drops. It's where if you wanted to get rid of Scott Frost, it's not going to cost you as much of a pretty penny as it is now. I understand all that. But if you're sitting at 6-3, you've already clinched a bowl game. You are competitive in the Big Ten West. You are at the top of possibly competing for a Big Ten championship. If you drop the last 3 games, yes, it's disappointing. Those are the most difficult teams on your schedule outside of Oklahoma. Like, I understand what you guys are saying. I get it. 6-6, this is the University of Nebraska. 6 wins is not acceptable. But you got to realize where the program is right now. In 6 wins, when you start out 4-1, 6-3, this team will be ranked with those type of records. This will be a ranked football team. When is the last time Nebraska fans could say that? It's been a while. It hasn't been in the Scott Frost era. So I just think we might need to pump the brakes on this. 6 wins isn't going to be enough because if this is the scenario that plays out, Strick, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they get rid of him. I don't.
Like I say, especially if you start off the way that you start. If you start off the way that some people, even as he's projecting, is it for Fernelli or
Fernelli,
yeah.
Right? It's Tom Fernelli with CBS
Tom
Sports.
Fernelli. If Fernelli, if you start off the way Fernelli is projecting it, right? 4-1 basically,
which
the loss is going to be the Oklahoma loss,
which is not a bad loss.
No, it wouldn't be. At that point, you're 4-1, but I like the idea, especially if you lose tight. If you get blown out by Oklahoma, that could change the scope of your feelings and emotions about it, right? Because you knew that a couple of those other games are ones that you should have won. And if you play them tough, couple things happen, interception, or you just can't finish the drive to win the game, or the field goal goes awry,
right?
Or they score late and you just couldn't get the stop, just something like that. I think it bodes better than if they came in here and blew you out by 21 or 28 points, right? So if it's a tight 4-1, you still can carry momentum into those next games that follow until you get to the later half of the gauntlet. You want to try to be at 6-1 or so when you hit Purdue. You don't want to hit Purdue kind of on a slide down, because that's going to be a tough one to win. So I think if you can carry the momentum of a close game or even a win against Oklahoma, that can change the trajectory of your whole season. If not, if you lose to Northwestern, win the 2 and then take an L to Oklahoma, I think it could start teetering on the edge of cliff.
Here. So this is how the scenario would play out going to that Purdue game. If his projections are correct, which I'm still don't know if I'm buying a loss at Rutgers, but this is the reference that we're using.
They're the ones that are what is it called? They're the ones that is like the Cinderella. They're the ones that are like the ones that could possibly
Rutgers
just come out of nowhere and
they
you're
could.
Like, whoa, but I'm not saying that's them. I don't believe it, but they're the ones that could surprise people. I think of the Big Ten right now. I don't think it's Indiana. I think Purdue's going to be solid, but I think Rutgers is the ones that if they're going to surprise people, they'll be the ones that surprise.
I think it'd be Rutgers, but again, I don't know if I buy Rutgers.
I don't know
but
if I buy it.
It is on the road. There's something to be said for that, and it's a night game on a Friday. So okay, maybe. So going into that Purdue game, you would be 4-2. You drop one to Purdue, you sit at 5-3, but then he has them losing to Illinois, or you drop one to Purdue, you're sitting at 4-3. Then he has them winning against Illinois and Minnesota. You finally get the monkey off your back against Minnesota. You win against Illinois, get your revenge. There's that 6-3, and then again, the problem is the way that the schedule is set up. It can become a slippery slope. Michigan, outside of Oklahoma, is the toughest team that you play on your schedule. If you play them close, I'm not considering that a bad loss. That's 6-4. You lose to Wisconsin at home. Listen, how many years have you lost straight to Wisconsin? Wisconsin's a legitimate 8-9 win football team every single year. Unfortunately, that's not where Nebraska football is right now. You're sitting at 6-5. So that Iowa game at the end of the season, which is a toss-up, gets you at either 7-5 or 6-6. It's unfortunate that this is the way that the schedule plays out. But unfortunately, your toughest 3 games, your worst 3-game stretch, are the games that a lot of people are saying are going to decide Scott Frost's fate. But if he goes into that stretch 6-3, I just don't know if anything is going to be changed. I don't think anything's going to be moved. Wilmot says, look at the volleyball program. Do you think they go into matches hoping that they will win? They go in knowing and expecting to win each and every game. I understand that, and I think that's what's great about the volleyball program. But look at the direction of the programs here. Like, let's not act like Nebraska is competing for national championships like the volleyball program is. I'm telling you right now, if you went to the Tom Osborne well-oiled machine in the 90s, guess what? They probably went in knowing and expecting to win every game too. VJ and Jay will be the first 2 to tell you that. They were going into every game saying, we're going to smack you in the mouth and we're going to win this football game. That's not the state of the program. And it's slow progress to the top, but that's just how it works in college football now. Nebraska is not Alabama. Nebraska is not Ohio State. Nebraska is not Clemson. It's going to take time. And if Nebraska is a 6-win team with a chance to win a bowl game, and if this is the scenario that plays out, I just don't see how you can get rid of him. I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't. Eric says 4-1 with win over Northwestern, North Dakota, Georgia Southern, and Indiana. There's no way Nebraska is ranked. Evidently, your IQ drops 40 points when they put a microphone in front of you. Listen, I think that 3-0, Nebraska will have votes to be ranked against in that Oklahoma game. I would be very surprised if they didn't. And then if you start out 4-1, depending on how the rest of the scenarios go, depending on how the records go, normally if you're sitting at 4-1, you have an opportunity to be ranked. And if you go back to what I said that they're either going to be ranked or they're going to be in a spot to be ranked. I don't know. I don't think that's too outlandish of a statement.
No, I don't think that is an outlandish statement. I think Oklahoma will kind of, again, if you come into Oklahoma 3-0, you'll probably have a few votes.
You'll have votes,
but I think if you clip Oklahoma and
if you beat Oklahoma and you're 4-0, you are 100% right.
Beat them well. I mean, I think you beat them, not that you scrape by the hair of your chin.
Even if you scrape by, I think you might get ranked.
I don't know.
You don't think?
I think it would take 1 or 2 more.
Oklahoma's going to be top 10 in the country, and you're starting out 4.
So?
I think they're preseason number 9.
Okay, well then, yeah.
If you start out the season 4-0, beat Oklahoma, I think
unless if Oklahoma doesn't drop the ball early in the season with somebody clipping them, then and they're where they are supposed to be right now, I think if you beat them, then
I think so too. And again, I think if you beat Indiana, if you're sitting at 4-1, I think you got a pretty good shot at being ranked. Ladder guy asked this. I'll ask you this. So, are things different with a win against Rutgers and a loss against Minnesota? So we can go ahead and look at the schedule. So they beat Rutgers. That would mean that you start out 5-1. 5-1 again. I think we need to start having a discussion that this team will probably be ranked. And then you go lose to Purdue, 5-2, win against Illinois, 6-2. So you go into Minnesota 6-2. The problem that I think you run into if you go into Minnesota and you did beat Rutgers is that means that you would drop the final 4 games. That's when it becomes a little bit more challenging, which I think is maybe not a likely scenario. I think it's a very possible scenario. I don't know. It's very interesting. And I don't know how it's going to shape out. I think this is a very interesting scenario that he raises too. I think he was being a little bit disrespectful to Nebraska football because I think there are reasons to be optimistic. NIL, the quarterback situation, you have a proven starter, the transfer portal in general, you have the 7th best transfer class in the entire country. There are reasons to be optimistic. Do not forget that, Husker fans. And let's say this. Nebraska, let's just get ranked this season. Even if it's early. Let's get ranked. Why not?
Let's go.
Why not? drink the Kool-Aid. Sprinkle a little vodka in it. I don't see why not. But we will see. Time will tell. We got to take a quick break. We will be right back. You listen to On the Block, 93.7 The Ticket.
It's time to start thinking about what's next. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Southeast Community College wants to be part of your conversation. SCC Discovery Days give you an immersive look at our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford. Come take a tour, meet our instructors and students, ask questions, and see all the new things SCC has been doing and building in the last few years. See more and register online at southeast.edu/visit SCC. Your path to possible.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this summer. Check out their new Keen and Tiva brand sandals for hiking and Olukai sandals for sitting by the pool. Plus, they're stocked up on Hey Dudes to catch you up on the latest shoe fashion. They also have shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. 2-1 count, and that's a deep drive into the gap. Smith rounding first base. It's a stand-up double.
Hey, Nick, speaking of doubles, did you know Wings and Rings has 2 ways to enjoy their next-level food?
Rico, we're in the middle of a game.
The game can wait, Nick. One way is to stop by one of their Lincoln locations. They have 2 great locations at O Street, Meridian Park, and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village.
You said 2 ways. What's the other way?
You can order online at wingsandrings.com.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go. Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Call Nebraska Auto Detail today at 402-601-5086.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Skies will gradually clear, and by later this afternoon, we'll top out near 89. A south-southeast wind at around 15. We'll see a chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly late tonight towards tomorrow morning with a low of 66. We will continue on with that chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of around 87. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money, but like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A very good Wednesday afternoon to all of you. I'm Nate Brennan. He is Eric Strickland. You are listening to On the Block 93.7 The Ticket. We want to hear from you. You can go ahead and roast me. I don't care. I'm sticking with it. Nebraska's going to be ranked at some point this season. 402-464-5685. Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Starter Heyman text line. We want to hear from you.
Ground.
I'm standing my ground. You could roast me all you want. Trust me, it's the first time I've been roasted. 402-464-5685. We want to hear from you because we're going to be talking about the GOAT. Not football, not basketball, not hockey, because we all probably can agree that it's Wayne Gretzky. One that isn't really talked about too much.
I say Ovechkin.
Is, do you really?
No.
I was about to say, interesting. I would be very interested to
debate that
to hear
one.
that argument. But no, I'm going to assume we all agree that it's Wayne Gretzky. Something that a texter brought it up. I can't remember who the texter was that brought it up, so I apologize. But
I think
he
it's
said-
Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh? He was pretty good.
He was a
He
great
was-
goalie.
Jerome
if it could be
McGinley.
the goalie.
No, he probably is. Jerome McGinley was pretty nice too.
Yeah.
Messier. But
Oh, yeah, Messier.
Messier and Gretzky played together
Yeah,
too. That would talk
yeah.
about a solid lineup. A texter said, "How come we never talk about the GOAT in baseball?" So I said, "You know what, Strick? Let's talk about it. Who's the GOAT in baseball?" And there's plenty of different ways that you can take this. So I'm going to go ahead and let you start, and then I guess I'll piggyback off of
Are
what
we
you
going to
said.
start at top 5?
I guess we
and
can
work
do. Do you want to do top 5?
I think you got to work into it, or we can just get straight to it and say who you think it is.
We can just. I guess we can just
we can,
discuss because
we can.
I
We
really
can.
don't know.
I personally, when I okay, look, my issue with the GOAT debate in baseball is this: there's been tremendous players that have come along throughout the years, and some that have did some great things, some phenomenal things. It's tough because you're talking about from every position to include pitcher. I personally think one of the greatest pitchers of all time is Roger Clemens. That's just my personal
Right.
thought on that. Then I'm gonna make a compelling case, and I might get roasted for this, but I've been used to being roasted and called all kinds of things.
I
Standing
know
at the
you
free
are.
throw line, and people
Oh
are
yeah.
talking
Were you
crazy.
good
to
free
me
throw
and stuff
shooter?
like- I was
There you go.
83 career.
Oh, nice.
But I'm gonna make a compelling case because I think it's between Willie Mays,
Okay.
but Willie Mays' offensive statistics doesn't necessarily bring you there.
12-time
But-
Gold Glover though.
Yes,
Yeah.
but his defense and the stuff that he did on defense is phenomenal. He's a one-time World Series winner, 2-time NL MVP. He was incredible. Like if you talk about all-around baseball players and doing what he does, I mean, the only thing closest to that was his nephew, and I think it's his nephew, and that was Barry Bonds, right? So you can tell what came out of that. But his offensive numbers didn't necessarily match what other players did of all time. But it still ranks him, I think, is number 2. Now, why? I'm gonna make a case for Babe Ruth being the guy, not because Babe Ruth played in the era of baseball. Not because of the velocity changes that you have now in baseball, but I will say that he played probably in a dead area where the ball was dead and the bats didn't have the same type of
That is
bat
for
pop
certain.
that
That
it
is
has
for certain.
now. You know what I'm saying? So for him to do what he did, playing with the Red Sox, winning what, 2 championships with the Red Sox, and then coming over and winning 5 more with the Yankees.
Yeah.
So 7-time world champion, 1-time AL MVP, and he's on the MLB all-time team, right? But here's why I think he's the GOAT. Over his career, He was the AL leader in home runs 12 times. He set the record then for 60 home runs in a single season. He had a slugging percentage of 690, which ranks him all-time best. And he had 714 career home runs, which makes him third now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also ranks second in all-time RBIs at 2,214. But here's what makes him the GOAT for me. He was now in what is in AL, you have, I think it's changing, but you have DHs.
Mm-hmm.
In the NL,
They do have them now in the National League.
They do now, but back, it was, no DH.
Right.
Pitchers had to hit. This man was not only the best slugger, but he was a beast as a pitcher
He
too.
was.
So he was not just a hitter. He had an ERA of 2.28, which ranks him third among starters, and 17 shutouts. So he could step on the mound, shut you down, step at the plate, and bang you out there, which is crazy to me. So for me, those are some things that kind of put him in that category for me. He was a dual threat on the baseball diamond.
Oh, Strick, this is gonna be fun. So we have a few texters coming in. He says Bonds, his numbers are just so stupid. I'll get to that in a second. Ricky Henderson Dunn says Marv. I know you're a Ricky Henderson.
I was Ricky
guy.
Henderson fan.
Thomas and Lincoln says Albert Pujols. That we could maybe just Albert Pujols was a beast.
He
in
was
his
a
prime,
beast,
man.
I don't know defensively if he takes me there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the part.
I think
he's slugging. He slugs with the best of them for me.
I'm confused. I think Albert Pujols, I want to say, has 3 Gold Gloves. Here, give me just a second. I'm going to look that up for sure. If I had to say, I would say that I'm pretty sure he has 3 Gold Gloves. Wet Blanket says, comparing stats to players of same era, it's Ruth hands down, but it is impossible to be the GOAT if you played in a segregated league. That is an interesting point.
Great point.
Wet Blanket.
Great point.
Derek says, Tony Gwynn, hands down, best ever. Rest
I
in
like
peace,
Hank
Tony
Aaron
Gwynn,
personally.
Go Padres.
Hank
Aaron is also a good one.
That's me.
And he says, and Babe Ruth smoked cigarettes, which, I mean, there was a time when you could just smoke
But that was
cigarettes
the
on
era
field.
where you could not only smoke, you can drink brew, come
Drink
in with
beer.
the fat belly,
Yep.
and just slug. Just slug away.
Yeah.
The fat belly. You didn't even have to run to first base. Just trot.
So in his career, Albert Pujols had 2 Gold Gloves. Okay. 3 NL MVPs, 2-time World Series champion, 10-time All-Star. Albert Pujols is pretty darn good. All y'all's daddy says Ruth, name one other dual threat player in MLB history. That's why
where it is for me.
This is why this is such a difficult question. And the only pushback that I'd have against you, Strick, is when we talk about eras in basketball, that's essentially what almost instantly knocks out Wilt Chamberlain, knocks out Bill Russell. They're normally not even in the discussion. But Babe Ruth, on the other hand, we're always able to just kind of forget about the era and say he's still in the GOAT discussion. He might be there. And I know that his numbers show it, but Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points in a game. He averaged like 35 in a season, 50 in a season.
Yeah, almost.
I mean,
like
maybe his championships weren't there, but I mean, dominance was there. But your era, normally when we talk about the era, you take him out of the argument. So it's interesting. And then Jeremy the Grill Master says, "Where's Ted Williams?" Ted Williams.
I had Ted Williams.
I know you
in
had
my top
Ted
5.
Williams.
Yeah, he's up there. And his seasons, he was cut short because he, the Vietnam War and the Korean War. No, World War II. I'm sorry. He was I'm not Vietnam. He was not that old or that young. World War II and Korean War cut him short, but freaking numbers he was able to put up after losing the seasons that he lost. I mean, he still ranks fifth place. Just his hitting prowess was just phenomenal. Like, he had probably one of the smoothest swings, one of the smoothest strokes from that side, left side of the ball.
Here's what's, and I don't even know how I feel about this. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not saying that I'm advocating that he's the greatest of all time, but I'm not saying that he's not. So when I look at Barry Bonds, it's honestly somewhat unbelievable. So he recorded 7 National League MVP awards, 12 Silver Slugger awards. Those are most in MLB history. He holds many MLB hitting records, all-time home runs in a season, most career walks. So for reference, he was walked 2,558 times. And when we talk about that, we all know about the Barry Bonds rule is that if the bases are loaded and you have less than 2 outs, you know what, Barry Bonds, we're going to let you walk on over to first base. We're only going to give up 1 run opposed to 4. He's the only player in MLB history to have 500 home runs and 500 stolen bases. The problem with Barry Bonds is, and I talked about this off air with you, Strick. Can you say that someone is the greatest of all time at their sport if they're not in the Hall of Fame? Whether you think it's right for him to be in the Hall of Fame or wrong, and it's a good thing that he's not in the Hall of Fame, or you're right in the middle, can you say that someone is the greatest of all time at their sport if they're not in the Hall of Fame?
I'm going to throw this out here because I'm uniquely different than probably some people that in the way that they think. I look at the body of work, right? I understand there's other things that come into play dealing with that situation, but I still look at the body of work. Let me give you an example. And please do not call the station saying that, oh, E Strick supports this. No, I'm not going to. What I'm going to say is only speaking specifically to the body of work. And it's an example of what I'm trying to say. Okay. There's a gentleman that just recently got into a little bit of trouble. He is in prison right now, and he was dealing with some underage women. His name is R. Robert Kelly. Robert Kelly, say what you will about him, understand that he's dealing with the consequences of his actions. His body of work in music, it doesn't nullify the fact that he is a musical genius, and what he put forth in his music during his time. Take that into consideration, that everything outside of what he did, that is what he did, but the body of work of what he did, I, as a person, and I'm only saying this for me, I can compartmentalize your off court, off field, off, the baseball diamond, as opposed to what you did when you were on it. So I'm different in that aspect. And so I look at Barry Bonds and his body of work when he was on. One of the things for me, when I think about that in the PED situation, is, let's be real about it. It's very similar to me as what's been going on in college football when people were dropping bags on people and, everybody was doing it. Let's just call it like it is. Everybody in some form or fashion was doing something to enhance their performance. I'm not saying it's right. This is not a conversation of what's right or what's wrong. I can understand somebody as they're getting a little older and they want to be in the competition, and you've got Canseco and McGuire over there.
Sammy Sosa.
There's some stuff going on, and you're saying, you know what, maybe. But here's my thing about that all. You still got to put bat to ball. A round ball touching a cylinder bat is still one of the toughest things on earth to do.
I would agree with
when
that.
Balls is coming off the slide, forks are dropping off the table, screwballs and changeups are falling off the map. You got all these things. You still got to put bat to ball and perform. So that's my stance on it. Say what you will about me, blast me or whatever, but that's just the way that I view things. I still look at body of work.
I think, and Texter makes a good point, the difference is Bonds' issues enhanced his body of work. Here's where it gets so fascinating for me is you can look at his statistics, his numbers, whatever you want to look at. Before
come on.
Before
Talk
the
to me.
steroids. So
Talk to me.
1999 is usually kind of the barometer that they use that maybe things would have started getting a little fishy. 1999, he played 102 games, hit 34 home runs. The most that he hit in the season was 1993, his first year with the Giants. He hit 46 home runs. Then you jump to 2000, 49 home runs, 73, 46, 45. So you instantaneously become
Question mark.
certainly 40 home runs. You hit 73 in one season. So you can kind of see where it jumps off the page. You can make the argument that Barry Bonds had 2 Hall of Fame careers. You could say
Pre and post?
before he took steroids, you could say he was a Hall of Famer. You could look at his second career, for lack of better words, and say that was a Hall of Fame career too. The question is, without that second half, without compiling those home run numbers, RBI numbers, are we still on base percentage was off the charts then? Are we still considering him in the GOAT discussion? That's where I don't know. And that's where I think it gets a little bit fishy. And it's just,
who else in the modern era could you throw in there? I think ultimately Trout.
I think Trout will be
in the end of the day will probably end up surpassing a lot of what we're seeing.
I think Mike Trout will be the greatest of all time when it's all said and done. I don't know if that's obviously going to be for certain,
if he stays healthy.
There's still a lot of it. And I think he needs to get on a better team too, because the Angels unfortunately are not very good. A texter says Jeter. I don't know about that one. I like Derek
definitely
Jeter,
not Rodriguez.
No. And again, another guy took steroids.
Do you throw Manny Ramirez in there?
David Ortiz. Same
No
team.
Poppy. No Poppy.
No Poppy?
No D. No Poppy D.
He didn't have any defense. It's such an interesting conversation because I feel like you're either one way or the other. You're either he took steroids, no. He took steroids, it doesn't matter. He's still the greatest of all time. That's why I don't want to take a stance really, because
I'm rolling with Orlando Cepeda.
All right. But when you look at the numbers, it has to be Barry Bonds. It has to be. But he did take steroids.
But
he did lie about it, and then he ended up getting bopped for it. So it's an interesting conversation. Maybe we'll talk about this more into the second segment. Seems like you guys are pretty interested because it is a very fascinating conversation. Arrows is a big part of it too. Shootout with Strick is next. 402-464-5685. Honda of Lincoln Hotline. We want to hear from you because $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings is on the line. We'll have that next on the block.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go. Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Call Nebraska Auto Detail today at 402-601-5086.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this summer. Check out their new Keen and Tiva brand sandals for hiking and Olukai sandals for sitting by the pool. Plus, they're stocked up on Hey Dudes to catch you up on the latest shoe fashion. They also have shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. Are you or someone you love at risk of an opioid overdose? Get the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Opie Rescue can guide you through the steps of how to respond to an opioid overdose. Be Opie ready. Download Opie Rescue today.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Lisa Workman of Security First Bank.
Mortgage lending is my true passion. As the Director of Mortgage Lending, I work to ensure you receive exceptional customer service.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 505011 and 616196.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Skies will gradually clear, and by later this afternoon, we'll top out near 89. A south-southeast wind at around 15. We'll see a chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly late tonight towards tomorrow morning with a low of 66. We will continue on with that chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of around 87. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
That is correct. It is time to play the game. Shootout with Strick. We play it every single day around 4:45 right here on the block. 402-464-5685. Go ahead and give us a call. That's the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We want to hear from you. Today, the category is all-time NFL leaders. As much as we're talking about MLB, I guess we could have gone with MLB, but today the category is all-time NFL leaders. Had to venture away from the NBA questions. Strick was doing pretty well with those. So if you guys heard yesterday, Strick is officially on fire. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. 402-464-5685. That is the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We still need a player. Also, John says, I let the whole steroid era in the Hall of Fame if I had a vote. Can't tell the history of baseball without him. For what it's worth, John, I would have to agree with you. I'd probably put him in the Hall of Fame too. Also, I want to make it very, very clear. This is a pro Pete Rose radio station. I am all for Pete Rose being in the Hall of Fame. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that he's not in the Hall of Fame, but that's not here nor there. Also, the steroid guys, I have to agree with you, John. I'd probably put them in the Hall of Fame too. We're going to head to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. No producer today, so we're just going to go ahead and put you through the air, so be very aware of that. Please be courteous. Who are we talking to right now?
This is Brent.
Brent?
Yes, B-R-E-N-T.
All right, Brent, how do you feel about all-time NFL records and leaders?
I figure I have a 50-50 chance.
All right, we like to hear it. As always, Brent, make sure you stay on the line. We're going to have to get Strick's answers first to make sure you know how many points you have to get. Strick, are you ready to go?
Oh, I think Brent's,
he's 50-50, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know. Let's go.
All right, we will start in 3, 2, and 1. He is now the all-time leader in passing yards. Drew Brees or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
That is correct. He's the all-time leader in interceptions thrown. Dan Marino or Brett Favre?
Brett Favre.
That is correct. He's the all-time leader in receptions. Tony Gonzalez or Jerry Rice?
Jerry Rice.
That is correct. He's the all-time leader in field goals made. Adam Vinatieri or Gary Anderson?
Vinatieri.
That is correct. And for the money ball, he is the all-time leader in punt return touchdowns.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3,
Tyreek Hill.
2, 1.
At the buzzer, Strick, it would be Devin Hester.
Dang it!
Devin Hester
had a brain fart.
I know. I thought you were going to get that one. Former Chicago Bear Devin Hester.
I was thinking Chicago, but it was not coming to me.
Devin Hester, for what it's worth, too, in the 2007 Super Bowl, he started off the game with a kickoff return touchdown. So not the leader in kickoff return touchdowns, but for what
We
it's
need
worth,
some of
he
that
was
in
the
Nebraska.
punting return.
God dang it.
Wouldn't that be nice? Hey,
Some
Trey
special
Palmer.
team
Trey
work.
Palmer, shout out to you. That would be pretty nice. Would be some punt return touchdowns. So the number is 4. Brent, how you feeling? At 4, you feel a little bit better about that?
I think my odds just went down.
Oh, odds went down. Don't sell yourself short. I think you might have a pretty good shot here. Brent, are you ready?
Sure.
All right, we will start in 3, 2, and 1. This current player is the all-time leader in passer rating. Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson?
Mahomes.
That is correct. He is the all-time leader in rushing yards. Walter Payton or Emmitt Smith?
Emmitt Smith.
That is correct. He is the all-time leader in sacks. Reggie White or Bruce Smith?
Reggie White.
It's actually Bruce Smith. This quarterback is the all-time leader in yards per rush attempt. Randall Cunningham or Mike Vick?
Vick.
That is correct. And for the win, he is the all-time leader in receiving touchdowns.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I have no idea. Hester.
No.
Brent. It would be Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, that was it. I was
Jerry
right on the tip of
Rice.
your tongue.
I know. I think Brent knew it.
I knew he knew it. I knew he wanted to say it.
He's the all-time leader in receptions and receiving touchdowns. So the answer is Jerry Rice. So, Brent, that leaves you with 3 points. So, unfortunately, you did not win. But that might be good luck for you. Go ahead and hang up now. The third caller is still going to get $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings because, as always, Strick plays for the people. So maybe that's a good luck charm. 3. Strick, I will give you your shout-outs. Don't worry. Here, let me go ahead and get to them, and then I'll go ahead and get to the
Boom
tiebreaker.
shakalaka!
That's my favorite one right there. I always love that one.
Finish him. Flawless
victory. And then here's your hell.
Give me a hell yeah! I said, give me a hell yeah!
I might drink a few brews
a little
after listening to him.
celebratory after that. Here, let me go ahead and get the. I always got to find it. I always have a little bit of a tough job. Here, here it is. Okay, I want to make sure
You know I'm on fire.
and that's why I'm trying to get it for you.
Somebody should put a straitjacket on this guy. He's on fire.
So that will make it 3 in a row for Strick. You're going for the sweep.
Hey man,
this week.
listen, I was
Look,
bad
that
last
was-
week.
you
bro.
were no last
was
week.
terrible.
Again, I don't want to speak for you, but that was a little bit embarrassing. That was you're better than that, I will say. So that will make it 3 in a row for Eric Strickland. Someone's gonna have to put a straitjacket on this guy because he is officially on fire. 3 in a row for Strick. Again, $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line. Go ahead. I have someone on the phone. Make sure you stay with us. I'm going to head over to the other studio, and I'll get the money ball or the tiebreaker on the other side, Strick, just to make sure that you get the question and everyone knows it. But that was the first hour of On the Block. Luckily for you, we are here through the 5 o'clock era at 5 o'clock hour as well. Make sure you stay with us. You listen to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is your high school minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Gus Cottle. Legion Baseball is underway after the conclusion of the Coach K tournament. Carpet Land defeated WBC 10-1. Razorbacks defeated Carpet Land 9-0. Bellevue West Post defeated Pierre Post, South Dakota 18-10. Bellevue Post also defeated Orano, Minnesota 10-8. Carpet Land defeated Edge, Wisconsin 8-0. And Sampson Construction tied with Lincoln Christian 4-4. In the Class A Girls All-Star Soccer match, the goals came early and often, ending with a 4-3 shootout win for the home team, and they won the shootout 5-4. The 4 All-Star matches played at Omaha Skutt raised about $15,000 for Special Olympics Nebraska. Millard Norris head boys basketball coach Tim Cannon is the 2022 Journal Star Boys Coach of the Year. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at freedmanlaw.com today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Skies will gradually clear, and by later this afternoon, we'll top out near 89. A south-southeast wind at around 15. We'll see a chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly late tonight towards tomorrow morning with a low of 66. We will continue on with that chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of around 87. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Pillar Restaurant Group is proud to announce the full opening of our brick-and-mortar venue-at-home store, Lincoln's new premier specialty grocers. This store is home to our brand new Butchery by Venue. Get the finest Nebraska steaks, hand-cut in-house by our butcher, prepared for our restaurants, and available for you to take home. With hand-selected specialty seafood, charcuterie, wine, bourbon, and liquor options. Come in today to see what we have to offer at 70th and Pioneers in the Pioneer Woods Shopping Center. Open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Take your next step and join us for a Discovery Day at Southeast Community College. In Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, you'll get more information on the nearly 60 career and technical programs we offer, what financial aid is available, take a campus tour, and see our new buildings, and talk with actual students and faculty. We'll even buy you lunch. It's time to start thinking about what's next. For more information and to register, go to southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
The Soap Dogs are back with the best lineup for a night out in Lincoln, including Fireworks Fridays. Every weekend homestand at Haymarket Park begins with baseball and post-game fireworks set to your favorite music. Baseball, a big light show, and the best view in town. There's no better place to be on a summer night in Lincoln. Lead off your weekend the right way with Fireworks Fridays. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Stricken Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. You're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Ortega connoisseur, Jake Bakoven.
I like Ortega and I like pepper.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Stricken Bach. Hold up.
We're back on the block with Stricken Bach, but it's not Bach. It is, and it has been for some time now. Nate Brennan, a.k.a. Nate Diggy Dog, has been here with me this whole time. It's been a wonderful run right now so far. I mean, the text line has been rolling.
Yeah.
It has been a great run. We've been having a wonderful time. But we're going to dig into something right now. And you know what? I think this is going to be, we're going to actually start from the back end of it. I mean, because literally there's so much that we can touch on right now. For the listeners that are listening out there, we're definitely going to want to hear from you on the Honda Lincoln hotline at 402-464-5685, because this is something that literally, I mean, it's a numerical countdown, but there's so many topics and so many people that we can discuss in this specific topic that we're going to dump into right now, that ultimately we are going to talk about the best individual seasons that didn't result in an NFL MVP award. And so we're going to talk about players that had tremendous seasons, deserving of the highest of honors, but ultimately were snubbed for some reason or another that they were not able to get it done. I mean, you can look at the seasons of like Eric Dickerson when he went nuts for 2,000 plus yards.
Yeah.
I mean, we can start there. I mean, you can talk about Randall Cunningham when he was with the Vikings and he had one of the best, I think, receivers of all time in Randy Moss there in 98, where he just fed Randy with deep ball after deep ball, and they were going nuts. He ends up, with 14 starts. In 97, they went 9-7, but then when Cunningham and Moss got together in 98, a 15-1 record. And he broke a 15-year-old scoring record in that combination of 556 points in a season. Now, I don't know what you're looking at in that specific instance. Okay, maybe maybe because they didn't win it all, but ultimately that's not what matters. It's not about who wins it all. It's really about who put in that work, and that is a work. But here, understand this. Who is he going against in that specific season? I'm just getting it started. This isn't where ultimately we're going to land, but this is just getting it started. Just to wet your whistle, just to give you a little taste bud. Just to put a little appetizer in your mouth while you're sitting there for the entree being ready to drop on you. Okay? But who won the MVP that season? It was Terrell Davis at Denver, who had a 2,000-yard season, and he clinched the MVP honors. But that was a huge competition there. Cunningham, 3,700 yards and 34 touchdowns. Tremendous season, just came up short. That's just an idea. Where would you like to go? Because, I mean, there's some defensive players that possibly could have won it. I hate that it seemingly has always been a quarterback. But again, another thing I'm going to throw out to the text line and to you, will we ever see a running back win the honor again?
That's the big question that I think is the $1 million question, because I think the glaringly obvious choice for me would be Eric Dickerson in 1984. Still holds the all-time rushing record for 2,105 rushing yards in a season. Still has not been passed. And you don't win the NFL MVP? That is a little bit interesting to me. I believe every other 2,000-yard rusher in NFL history, I think O.J. Simpson, maybe not, but the other 7 that have ran for 2,000 yards have all won the MVP outside of Derrick Henry. I'm not sure if he quite got to the 2,000 mark. We'd have to look into that. But Eric Dickerson's the one that sticks out for me the most, and I think that kind of goes off of your question, Strick, is if Derrick Henry couldn't do it in 2020, and Texter says right here, Derrick Henry 2020, if he couldn't do it then, I don't think it's ever going to happen again. I really, the way the NFL is structured, and I don't see it changing anytime soon, where it's an air it out, let the quarterbacks throw 30, 40, maybe 50 times a game. With that being the landscape of football and kind of not losing the aspect of running the football, but it's definitely a different game. I don't see it happening. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either, but I think something that sticks out to me is one of the greatest quarterbacks to not win it and to 4 times come in second in MVP voting. You know what that is?
Who's that?
Randall Cunningham.
Really?
It's like he puts up the numbers. He did it in Minnesota.
Randall Cunningham was nice
in Philly.
Yeah.
And in 1990, you know, he comes in Philly. He comes in second to Joe Montana. But he only received 18 votes to Montana's 26, so he was right there. He had 3,466 yards passing, but almost 1,000 yards rushing, 942 yards, and comes up short. 30 touchdowns passing, 5 rushing, and he was second to Moon in touchdowns. And the defense was mediocre. I mean, it was in the middle of the pack, and yet he still put them out there. I feel bad for him. Like, to put up the kind of numbers he was putting up 4 times to come up second as a quarterback.
Yeah, that's.
You know what I mean?
I'm curious to, like, if he was in a different era, if maybe that would be
interesting,
be looked at it kind of the same way. Because this is mine's more kind of recency bias, and then Texter brings up Chris Johnson 2009. That was the next one that I was going to bring up too. Is that he set the NFL record for scrimmage yards with 2,509. Like this is my thing when I look at running backs. If you're setting some kind of record, or if you're doing something that's been done so rarely that that's all to talk about, because I'm looking back at Derrick Henry, and he did get the 2,000 mark clip, 2,027 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns. Like, if you're doing something that is considered unfathomable, that's been done so few times, Chris Johnson, you're setting records for all-purpose yards in a season, and you're not getting the MVP. It just is very, very mind-blowing to me. And it just makes me think, like, let's go down the list of
what about
NFL
JJ
MVPs.
Watt in 1994?
Another thing, they're not going to give it to a defensive player. You're not going to give it to
and
they
snubbed
should.
Aaron Donald, they snubbed
Aaron Donald's been
too.
snubbed a couple times too.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree, and I don't think they're ever going to give it to. Let's see the last time. The last time a defensive player won the MVP would have
Ed Reed got snubbed too that year with all the interceptions that he had. I want to say it was the year when 2004, when that Baltimore Ravens team was just absolutely stifling.
Ray Lewis too,
and number 6 defense, and he had intercepted 9 times, returning them for a then record almost 400 yards at 360.
That's my thing. When you're setting records like that, I just don't
crazy.
understand how you can't win.
106-yard pick six.
The last time a defensive player won, I'm going to have you try and guess it. In 1986, text line 402-464-5685. The last time a defensive player won, 1986.
I'll give away a Stricky picture for who. Now don't go look it up.
Don't
if
Google.
You use
Don't
the
Google.
If I can tell you use the Google, you will not win this award.
So you're giving away a picture?
I'll give away a picture.
Signed picture.
Dallas Mavericks picture.
Signed Dallas Mavericks picture. Who was the last defensive player to win the league MVP? Ooh, we have some text lines coming in. It is not Richard Dent. So everyone that is responding, Richard Dent. All right, we have a texter that has it right. I guess I will go ahead and make sure I text them so they know.
Who is the answer?
In 1986, do you know?
86. I'm gonna say Reggie White.
It was Lawrence Taylor.
Ooh, the
was
Giant.
The last time in 1986 was the last time that a defensive player won the MVP. And the last time, and this is bizarre, is the last running back to win the MVP was in 2012. You know who that was? Unreal, like mind-blowing season.
2012?
2012.
Oh shoot!
Think Vikings.
It was
Vikings.
Oh, Oklahoma.
Yes, Oklahoma. It's all the tip of your tongue.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
You know
Talk
this.
to me.
You know it.
I know it.
I can't. I can't.
It won't get off my lips.
Oh, Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was the last running back. And before
he went nuts.
that,
he
did.
went nuts. Bro.
And you got to think, before that, it was in 2006 where your hands were tied. You had to give it to him. Was LaDainian Tomlinson. And I'm going to ask you this then. So
how did Megatron not win it in 2012?
Megatron was
that was a travesty that they took it from him.
Especially how bad that team was too. That was my tiebreaker question, Strick. So in 2006, one of my favorite players, LaDainian Tomlinson, was set an NFL record for rushing touchdowns in a season. The last running back to win the MVP outside of Adrian Peterson, 2012. How many touchdowns did he run for? It's still a record today. LaDainian Tomlinson still holds the record for most rushing touchdowns.
28.
28. Boom. You know what? For that.
Give me Shakalaka.
Yeah. I'll give you
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I said give me
28 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Do you think now let me ask you this, in the quarterback driven league that it is today, 28 touchdowns for running back, does that give you the MVP?
That was when he was in San Diego, right?
That team was good too.
Yeah, that was
Phillip
a good
Rivers.
team.
That was a good team. Antonio Gates.
Man. And God rest his soul, man. One of the best linebackers to do it.
Junior Seau.
Junior Seau.
Yeah, no, that was very sad. Dealt with a lot of concussions, a lot of CTE issues. But I think at 28, that's where the line would be drawn, that you would have to give it to running back. But this is the other thing too. If you're going to give it to a running back, do you think wins and losses goes into it?
And
because
see,
they do
that's
it for the quarterbacks.
They
but does a
do it.
running back, does it matter?
I don't think so. I mean, look, I it's hard because the value of the player, like that's why they didn't give it to Calvin Johnson, because he was on a 4-12 team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the Lions always stink.
But the numbers, that's the thing that I think this is kind of disappointing, is that you still are a value. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, let's be real. I'm going to put this on the text line right now. And this is a debate. We're about to spark this line and make it hot because the block is hot. This is where it gets hot. Okay. There's two running backs, one up far north, one in the far south, and they usually play every Thanksgiving. And one is is an Oklahoma player by the name of Barry Sanders. And
Oklahoma State.
And another one is a Florida Gator by the name of Emmitt Smith. Now, here's the debate. Emmitt Smith breaks the record of all-time rushing. Barry Sanders is on the verge of doing that in a shorter time, had more breath in his lungs to get it done, shut it down. Now, even with that, Sauter Heyman text line is hot. 402-464-5685. Now, if Barry Sanders was given the line that Emmitt Smith was having, does Barry Sanders blow the record out of the water? Because the stuff he was able to do with no line. Emmitt Smith had 4 All-Pros and I think maybe 3 Hall of Famers. Help me to understand. Does Barry Sanders destroy the record?
I think he would probably beat the record. From what I've gathered, again, this is before my time. From what I've gathered, Barry Sanders was probably the best running back to ever step on a football field. Unfortunately, he played for the Detroit Lions. I think a lot of it, too, is culture in the team you play for. I think if you plucked Barry Sanders and put him on that Cowboys offense.
Ooh, Lord.
Yeah. Honestly,
that would have been a dynasty of the grandest proportions. Because if you can't, like Emmitt was good. Emmitt hit holes, ran one cut guy, got downfield, and made stuff happen. He wasn't going to blow the doors off of you. He wasn't like Bo Jackson that if he hit the corner or the edge, you were done. You were going down. And if he saw you as a safety, he might have ran you over and kept going, right? He wasn't that guy. But he ran his butt off. He ran hard. He hit the holes. He got the job done. Think about how awesome, what Novak and Michael Irving and all the receivers that came through there at that time, how even much more greater they would have been with the danger that Barry Sanders posed.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman probably would have broke records. With play action.
Just by playing with Barry Sanders. It's an interesting conversation, too, because this is not the only Lions player this happened. You look at Calvin Johnson. I think if you put Calvin Johnson on a formidable franchise and you extend his career, he goes down as the best receiver to ever play the game of football.
Ooh.
And I don't think there's even a discussion about it. As dominant as he was, another guy that retired early. It's almost like playing for the Lions is a death sentence.
It is a death sentence.
Which
except
really
for
is
Stafford.
Unfortunate. Stafford got away, though. Stafford got away.
Stafford was like the Undertaker. He was in the grave. And all of a sudden he comes to life and he's just dominating people.
First year, he's
like the Undertaker.
Wins Super Bowl, probably a Hall of Famer. We're getting to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Again, no producer today, so please be respectful. Just know that you are live on the radio. Who are we talking to right now? Chris, what's on your mind?
Hey, well, yeah, I do love Barry Sanders. I'm not a big Emmitt guy. Emmitt never had to worry about hitting anybody till about 7 yards downfield. Yeah. But Barry, I don't think of good offense. That he did have a Hall of Famer on his offensive line, Lomas Brown. He didn't have a crappy line like Walter Payton had. He's my guy. But I saw Barry Sanders a lot of times pass up wide open holes or bounce out of them and go elsewhere. I mean, he wasn't a guy that followed blocks really. He was a weird running back. And that's why, I mean, as much as how exciting he was and everything, you couldn't count on him on the goal line because he might lose 7 yards. And they didn't use him very much on the goal line. But I mean, he was probably the most exciting back. But I don't know that he would have benefited from a great offensive line because he didn't really use them.
Well, I mean, I think to me...
thanks for the call, Chris. We appreciate it.
I think for me that when I watch certain games, he's right. But also, they ran a lot of kind of shotgun, pistol. Mm-hmm. So he had to kind of find it a lot. It was a lot of zone read, not zone read like there are today, but it was a lot of zone blocking type stuff. So in zone blocking, holes don't present themselves. It wasn't like trap blocking or it not stuff like that. Holes didn't present themselves the same way in zone blocking. And that's pretty much what I saw their scheme of blocking was. So he had to find it. And so therefore for him, when guys are in your face half the time, one lineman, but shoot, there's a lot of terrible ones that there were a lot of times where he would take a 4-yard loss, 3-yard loss, jump cut, still have two people in his face,
hurdle,
and then break 100 yards, or 50, 60 yards. So I think there's a little bit of that. I think if you presented holes to Barry Sanders, he hits the holes because you can see that at Oklahoma State. You go back and watch his Oklahoma State stuff.
Beast.
Man, you see him, he hits holes. So I don't know if I can totally agree.
It's fascinating that he says that, though, because I'm looking at his touchdown totals, and you'd think by as many rushing yards as he has, he would have more touchdowns. In 1994, perfect example, he ran for over 1,800 yards, but only 7 rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be something to say for that, just out of the fact that he didn't get the opportunities on the goal line, didn't score as many rushing touchdowns.
Their offense wasn't built for that because they were pissed. They weren't like I formation setup. They didn't have a Moose Johnston that was kind of leading the way for him. You know what I mean? Their offense was just different. It was actually unique for its time because a lot of offenses in that time were very pro style.
Right.
It was kind of a unique style that they ran, but yeah, you can see why they wouldn't have too much.
I got a couple interesting texts for you, Strick, to hear what you have to say. Again, this was a little bit before my time, so I can only really go off of highlights and word of mouth. And from what I've heard, Barry Sanders was probably the best running back to step on the football field, but that's up for interpretation. Texter Jeremy in Northeast Lincoln says, the question isn't what Barry would have been, but what would Emmitt Smith have been on the Lions? In John's rebuttal, he also says on the text line, Emmitt Smith played in Detroit. He's not even a Hall of Famer.
I
So
agree.
that's the question if you put Emmitt
about.
Smith on Detroit, what kind of situation
That's
are you
what
looking
I'm that's what I'm alluding to. In essence, I'm not trying to change the dynamic of the greatness of both of those. That's what I'm alluding to, is that switch right there. How would that have changed things for each other? Yes, I was focused on Barry, but you're right, man. That's deep.
I don't know how that would.
I don't know how that fares
wound up
out
for Emmitt Smith's career. We're not saying. I would say Emmitt Smith is obviously one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. But it's very interesting to see if you put anyone from those Detroit. Again, Calvin Johnson's a perfect example because we never saw it either. We saw what happened with Matt Stafford when he left Detroit. He won a Super Bowl in the first year that he left. Like it just literally the first year that he leaves and he's put in a competent franchise, he wins immediately.
And he turns Cooper Kupp into like
Cooper Kupp's the best receiver in the NFL
right now.
And it's just I wish we were able to see Barry Sanders, and Calvin Johnson's the one that really stinks because he retired at 32 years old or whatever. I mean, he was certainly in a position where I don't think he should have been retiring, and that was pretty sad to me.
Well, he was stuck in a contract that wouldn't let him go. And so at the end of the day, you're like,
See ya. See ya.
I'm out. Hey, we're on the block. It is hot. It is hot outside too, but 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. A lot of stuff going on right here. Great conversation. We'll be right back to continue it on the block right after this.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
My computer was a dinosaur, and our TV, well, let's just say it was definitely time for an upgrade. But finding a way wasn't so simple. And then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. I earned cash for the study and was able to make those much-needed upgrades. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Lisa Workman of Security First Bank.
Mortgage lending is my true passion. As a director of mortgage lending, I work to ensure you receive exceptional customer service.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 505011 and 616196.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Skies will gradually clear, and by later this afternoon, we'll top out near 89. A south-southeast wind at around 15. We'll see a chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly late tonight towards tomorrow morning with a low of 66. We will continue on with that chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of around 87. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Take your next step and join us for a Discovery Day at Southeast Community College. In Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, you'll get more information on the nearly 60 career and technical programs we offer, what financial aid is available, take a campus tour, and see our new buildings, and talk with actual students and faculty. We'll even buy you lunch. It's time to start thinking about what's next. For more information and to register, go to southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips. Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great? Come on back and have a seat. Good asks you what haircut you'd like. I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today? Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on the block. We're back on the block. And as I stated before we left, block is hot. The block is hot. The block is hot. The block is hot. It is always hot on the block. The topics are jumping off. And we are talking about so many things. The text line is also hot. Y'all are informing us, keeping us informed, and you're sparking debate even right there. But we're going to talk about this debate because there's two things. I think it's blasphemy from what Shay.
I don't know what.
I don't know. I think it's blasphemy, but we're going to talk about Shay and his blasphemous comment. And then we're also going to touch and talk about, I think we want to get into Jason Tatum to me. You know, I'm a Boston Celtics guy. I'm not only a fan, but former player there, and spent some time up there and got a chance to watch just over 100 turnovers in a in a playoffs. That to me is, yeah, there's something wrong. For you to even get to the finals with those type of numbers in itself.
Impressive.
But the struggles for me in his first finals of just shooting a 44 for 120 in his field goal attempts, a disastrous 31% on 2-pointers, disastrous from 2-pointers, but he was effective at 45% of effective field goal percentage. But for the most part, great in assists, 7, but 4 turnovers on average. But that was in the fourth quarter. 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter average. That's when you're trying to win, that's not good.
That's rough.
You got to be solid in the fourth quarter, right? And he was 6 for 25 with 9 assists and 4 turnovers in the last game. The closeout game is no bueno. That's just when you're trying to oust former champions and become a champion, you've got to play better. So my question is Jason Tatum a fallen star, or is he just an emerging superstar that just had to learn a lesson similar to like your Michael Jordans and your Kobe Bryants in their first, playoff debacles? But this ain't the first playoff, but it's his first finals. Right. So, that's a question I wanted to throw out, because it just seemed like he was able to create separation against Miami, and in the conference finals, he did some things, against Bam Adebayo, but it just looked like he struggled. He struggled trying to create space. He was driving into 3 defensive players, trying to Euro step between people, taking awkward, types of shots. Didn't seem to have leg lift, couldn't create space and separation with the body. Plays very upright to me. And, it just looked like if he doesn't get those things fixed, I don't know if there's going to be, a better answer for them if they go forward.
I want to give him a little bit benefit of the doubt. He did just turn 24 years old, which is, I'm about to turn 24 tomorrow, actually. So he's my age. I think there's still plenty of time to learn. It's interesting to see, too, and Texter says, speaks to how good that Warriors defense was despite being undersized. I think your Jordan comparison, I don't think it's quite the same, because those Pistons teams legitimately bullied Michael Jordan. Like, they were playing football almost on a basketball court.
We talked to Rick Mahorn.
We talked to Rick Mahorn. Like, it was, if Michael Jordan was anywhere around the paint, like, it wasn't, we're going to foul him hard. Like, we're going to send him to the floor. So that was a little bit different defensive intensity than what Tatum's looking at. But like you've mentioned, Strick, when you get to the playoffs, man, like, these defenses ratchet up the intensity. And for a 24-year-old kid to see something like that in the finals, the Texter's right. How good the Warriors defense was despite being undersized. It's just a completely different ball game. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it'll be interesting to see, too, where the Celtics go from here. I think that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the East, but you still got the Nets lingering. The Bucks aren't losing Giannis anytime soon. The Heat played well up until the Eastern Conference Finals. So the East is not the East of the past. Listen, when LeBron was in the East, it was basically a done deal. LeBron's Miami Heat teams, his Cleveland Cavaliers teams, they were going to the finals. The East is not no slouch anymore. It's not. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it is a little bit concerning. It is.
I still, and I'm sticking to my guns. I'm standing straight up just like you did in the debate a little bit earlier. I'm not moving. I think that the biggest thing that happened for Golden State, and I will not change my mind on this, was getting Gary Payton II back.
Yeah.
The timing of his return.
You have been very adamant about that, yeah.
I'm telling you, it changed the whole dynamic on how they do things and what they were able to do with that small lineup defensively. The way that he played Jaylen Brown, who Jaylen Brown was on the cusp of starting to go nuts,
right,
and break out in the series, and he totally changed that whole dynamic and made it very tough. Jaylen still had pretty good, series. But not having Tatum not having the numbers that Jaylen Brown early could have,
Al Horford kind of fell off
and
towards the
held-
finals.
and then
too.
but then he was big when he
Yeah.
counted.
Yeah.
Man, he was big. He was really the only one for me that seemed to have showed up when it really meant something.
Right.
And so Marcus Smart, there was inconsistencies there. And then when I started to look down and up and down that bench, it just looked to me that Golden State had a little bit more than what I initially thought as far as the bench comparisons and what they were able to do. Because even Jordan Poole, he had some pool
He wasn't
days.
even playing towards the end of the series.
14, 15 minutes a
It
game.
was weird, and I don't know where that came
But that was
from.
Gary. That was Gary Payton II
Right.
who was doing
Right.
a lot of that work.
And John says,
And Looney.
Yeah, Looney was a big part of that too. John says, thankfully the refs were letting them play for the most part too,
Agreed.
which they were.
Agreed.
And I, this is the thing about the NBA. I wish they would let them play a little bit more in the regular season. I think there would be a little bit more attraction, a little bit more viewers focused on the NBA if that was the case. Because like regular season NBA basketball is kind of brutal to watch. Like I just
I don't
really
even
don't
watch it.
I don't really care for it. I'll
Yeah.
watch the playoffs and I'll watch the finals because they let them play a little bit. But it was nice to see. And John, that you're entirely correct when you say that, is that they were letting them play, and it makes you think some of these younger players where you grew up in NBA and probably the G League and college basketball is headed this way too. You haven't really seen that physicality, right? I mean, Jason Tatum, it's not like you grew up in an era. 'Cause say what you will about LeBron, then LeBron grew up or started playing during the physical era. These kids that are 23, 24 years old, Jason Tatum's never seen anything like that.
Not like that.
He's never played against
Not
a team
like
where you're
that.
allowed to play physical like
Right.
that, and it's an adjustment.
Even
and
from
that's
his
how it is.
AAU days and even in
Yeah.
college.
It's an adjustment.
It's very much an adjustment. I'm going to be interested to see where they go from here. Their salary situations. Al Horford is still carrying. I mean, with those three, they're all up at about that, in between that $35-40 million range, 45 million. White, I think in the like 15 to 20. Marcus Smart's in that same range. I'm wondering where they go from here, what additions they're going to be able to make, who they're going to keep, who they're not, what exceptions are. So I'm interested to see what they do in the offseason, how they can make themselves better. But Shay, your boy, that's your boy.
I don't know. That's
your homie.
First, let me get to this
Oh.
real quick, Strick. I know you like this. JD says, could you imagine crybaby LeBron playing those Pistons teams? It would be a joke.
Oh,
I mean, like that comment.
Oh.
Make sure I got that to you. It would be very.
I'm just
fascinating.
thinking about it. There's a lot of O's because I'm just thinking about how ugly that would be. Like, somebody sent me a tweet earlier, and then we're gonna get to Shay before we get out of here. Somebody sent me a tweet earlier, a friend of mine, and it was a tweet of the crew on NBA with Shaq and Kenny Smith,
Chuck.
They showed Kenny was talking about how when he turns the corner on the pick and roll, what it would have been like if he gets into the paint and then Shaq literally hits Kenny in his chest, and then Barkley hits Shaq in his chest and runs off. But that's what I've been telling people. When you turn the corner back in those days, you weren't looking for what type of layup you were going to make or what type of Euro step you were going to make. You were looking for who's rotating. Do I need to make this pass out to the corner or stop and hit this mid-range?
Right.
Because I'm not going any further because there's a detriment to my health to go a little bit deper right here. I mean, that's
you're
dead.
right.
That's the situations you were thinking about
right
when it happened. But Shay, that's your boy.
After what he said,
he's blasphemous.
I
in
don't
the
think
statement that he made.
I don't think he's my boy. anymore.
Shay made a statement that was blasphemous in that he said that now what Steph Curry has done has ousted Shaquille O'Neal, one of the most dominant, probably the most dominant centers of all time, 5-time champion, Four-time
Three
champion.
with the Lakers, one with the Heat, one with D Wade,
one with D Wade before.
2006.
That's right.
Yeah.
So 4-time champion ousted him out of the top 10. 402-464-5685. Do you think that's a blasphemous statement that Shay just made, or do you think Steph Curry Should have.
Come on now. There might be someone else you can bump out, but get out of here with that.
I say that, but we're going to take a break and come back and maybe tap into some of you guys' thoughts on that when we get back on 93.7 The Ticket at ticketfm.com. E. Strick and Nate on the block right after this.
Take your next step and join us for a Discovery Day at Southeast Community College. In Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, you'll get more information on the nearly 60 career and technical programs we offer, what financial aid is available, take a campus tour, and see our new buildings, and talk with actual students and faculty. We'll even buy you lunch. It's time to start thinking about what's next. For more information and to register, go to southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC. Your path to possible.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order your Wingstop online at 28th and Superior, 50th and O Street, and 29th and Pine Lake.
Pillar Restaurant Group is proud to announce the full opening of our brick-and-mortar venue-at-home store, Lincoln's new premier specialty grocers. This store is home to our brand-new Butchery by Venue. Get the finest Nebraska steaks, hand-cut in-house by our butcher, prepared for our restaurants, and available for you to take home. With hand-selected specialty seafood, charcuterie, wine, bourbon, and liquor options. Come in today to see what we have to offer at 70th and Pioneers in the Pioneer Woods Shopping Center. Open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hey, batter, batter, batter. Wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street in Meridian Park and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village. Or place your order online at wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff at brokersinsurancenE.com.
Can I go to the sleepover?
If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up things on the block, 93.7 The Ticket, 402-464-5685 is the Starter Heyman text line. Had some great interaction today. Love hearing from you guys as always. And to wrap up the show, we're going to go over some of the storylines happening around the sports landscape, around the sports world. First things first, Strick. Ndamukong Suh, former Husker, of course. He is not eyeing retirement. He says that he wants to come back, whether that's with the Bucks or with another organization. Do you think he's still got something left here in the tank?
I think he's still got a little something that he can offer in the tank. I think if you put him next to someone with the prowess of Aaron Donald or somebody who's tough inside, he still is a problem. He's still a space eater. He takes up space, very athletic still. Why not?
He had a nice suit on the other day when we were watching. I think it was SportsCenter or something. He had a really nice suit on. So he's looking good. So I think he should keep playing, especially if you pair him against someone like Aaron Donald. Goodness gracious, that's a very scary interior. Oklahoma, they will go to the College World Series. They defeated Texas A&M earlier today. They await the winner of Ole Miss and Arkansas. So they cruise to the College World Series. Are we thinking that they might be the team to beat, possibly?
Oklahoma's looking good, man.
They look
between
good.
their
They haven't lost
baseball
yet.
and their softball programs.
They
I
haven't
mean,
lost
they're phenomenal. They're still rolling.
It would be interesting to see too. I don't know when the last time was. Text line might be able to help me out. 402-464-5685. That baseball and softball team won the same year. I wonder if that's ever been done. Again, Oklahoma's rolling. They have yet to lose. And again, they will face off against the winner of Ole Miss and Arkansas. And also Oklahoma heading to the SEC here soon. So kind of maybe an all SEC College World Series. Depends on how you interpret it. I mean, I know they're still in the Big 12
I would love
now,
to
so.
see those matchups of Oklahoma and Tennessee in baseball.
Ooh,
I mean,
that'll be
that'd
fun.
be
They're going to throw
proud.
Texas in there too. Texas is going to be towards the SEC as
I
well.
mean,
so
A&M even made it. So it's kind of
it
tough
was,
down there.
yeah.
in the
If
SEC
you want to
right now.
consider Texas and Oklahoma as SEC schools, I think there were 5, maybe 6 at the end of the day that ended up being in the College World Series. And the last one I have for you, this one's a little bit bizarre. Shohei Ohtani, he slaps 8 RBIs against the Royals last night, including a pair of home runs. They still fall to the Royals. What is it? I don't know if I'm going to consider the Royals in my why not?
No, that's
what
Nick.
is going
Nick
on?
loves the Royals.
Nick does, and he likes the Cubs too. What is going on with the Angels? Because you got Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, arguably the 2 best players in baseball right now, and I think you'd have a pretty solid argument if that was the case. And you're losing the Royals?
They're
8 RBIs?
They're very similar to how the Lakers and the Clippers were. They're like the slap child of the Dodgers. That's what it seems like to me.
It's very
a baseball
bizarre.
version of
But
that.
like you'd think 8 RBI, 8 runs in general, you'd think would
That
be
means
enough
your
to beat the
pitching
Royals.
is horrid.
You're doing something wrong. I know they picked up Noah Syndergaard. I'm not entirely sure what else they did on that end. Again, Shohei Ohtani, reigning MVP. Mike Trout, 3-time MVP. They got to figure out something in LA. They got rid of Joe Madden, so it'll be very fascinating to see if they ever turn it around. Because I think Mike Trout's due for a World Series or at least a playoff run here eventually. At least you'd hope. That will do us for On the Block. We have Ticket Weeknights, as always, coming up after this. So make sure that you stick with us for a lot of good Husker content that we have coming up. Again, on 93.7 The Ticket. For myself, Nate Brennan, for the Husker Hall of Famer, Eric Strickland. We will see you tomorrow on The Block.
Work,
laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it.